Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing what if Deku was the gargantuan leviathan. Okay, so we start. First, let's explain some things. This wasn't my idea. Just give me a second. I got the idea from Sagati Mortim. I don't know this name. I can't even say it. But yes, please go watch his version, because I will be based off a little bit, at least the beginning of it. So we will start. Oh, remember, go check out Sagita Morton, because he was the one. He was the one who I watched this video, and I liked. He likes the idea. Anyway, so where do we start? So we start with Deku going to. How about not that part? Let's start actually as soon as he's born. So as soon as he's born, they notice a few things. For one, he has more. He looks like he was more serpent type when he was born. As he was born, there was also a tail that came with him. As Inko thought maybe that's the cramps that I had. It also seemed like he didn't really display pain or cry like any usual baby. He smiled at images of his mother, slightly giggling. They thought maybe this was just because he was born with he has some sort of mutation. But even though that they checked, it said that he was quirkless. So they thought maybe it was just a genetic mutation. And maybe his quirk slightly affected it. This was all just speculation, however. They just said that this was he was genetically different. Every time as they grew up, they noticed that he was, what is the word? He was different from other infants. He could already slither across the ground. Yes, slither. You see, most of his lower legs did work. He crawled much earlier. He even started to babble a lot. In fact, they kept him up until midnight sometimes. But every time that there was water, you'd see his eyes. They would just focus on it, as if he yearned for something from it. So one day they took him to a water park, like this, a ship, a submarine, to be correct. It went quite a few. It went very far down, near the dead zone. The dead zone is a place where not much life is, but because it's so dark, most people can't go any further because of the pure pressure. You see, here's somewhere between the huge difference. This was in the Mariana Trench, to be exact. Yes, you might be wondering, why did they travel all the way across the world for it? Well, let's just say that due to Deku's mutation. They gave a lot of money just so they could take small samples as he grew up. So Hisashi came back to Japan shortly after his birth. Learning about this, he still kept his job. All he really said was that that they should take him out for something he'd like. It was just above. Wait, give me a second. Look, I'm back. They were above the dead zone, which I actually give me a second. Yeah, so the dead zone is about 3,000 meters deep, I believe. Yeah, 3,000 meters deep. So the pressure will be intense. Let's say that they're 250. No, 2,000. 2025. 2,250, yes. 2,250 meters, which I'll quickly convert into feet for those Americans. It's around 6,000 feet based on Google saying how long a meter is. So around 3,000 feet or so. Like 6,000 feet or so. Anyway. So yes. Where was I? This is good. I sorry for all the stopping. It's because I take a break and I just googled it. Yeah. So there's this long glass canal. As you usually see about a kilometer, which is 1,000, which is about a kilometer, or I think that's like half a mile or something. I don't know. If you're American, just you know the translation, right? Anyway, yeah, it's like 3,000 feet. Okay, whatever. So, yeah. So as Deku and his family are about, let's say, a little bit over halfway. A pack. How many should I make this? 1 second. Okay, now that's over. Sorry about that. Yeah, pack about 10 ghost leviathan. Plus 2 juveniles. Come ramming at the reinforced glass tunnel, which is made to last about like, I don't know, a million. I don't know how much. Half a nuclear bomb. Sorry, it's my grandmother. I need to pause. Anyway, sorry about that. I had to just clarify something because the room I'm in, the door won't properly close. Anyway, now let's go back to the video. Okay, so yeah. If the captain calls an emergency, why does it say cause an emergency meeting? He triggers an emergency siren, which echoes down the hallway extremely loud, not loud enough to vibrate and shatter the glass. Anyway, as everyone's running, Deku's family start running. Inko not seeing Deku. As he's on the floor confused, because remember he's like, I don't know, like 5. He's like 5. He's 5 and he's already put into his first life-threatening situation. He might just be thinking to play, babe. Then he saw the ghost leviathan directly staring at him as it rammed the glass. He saw his mother and started running just before he could enter. The glass closed. everyone watched as the ghost leviathan pulled him down to the depths of the down deep into the dead zone. He's around, I'd say, 1,500 meters, where it says isn't the bottom of the dead zone. But it is a bit of a rocky place. And now let's continue. So, I nearly forgot what I was doing. Give me a second, my brain is still functioning. Okay, wait a second. So, wait. Yeah. It's about to take a bite. I didn't even see a blinding flash of light come flying out. It even as it rises, people see across the world just a spire of light appears on the water. And just as we left playing, it nearly vanished instantaneously. As we see, as it disappeared, Deku opened his. Deku is partially unconscious and more rageful side, only wanting to survive, thrashed and almost devoured the survive, and him being able to see in a blood, him still confused on what he is. He sees ghost leviathans. Now, 1 second. I just want to do. Sorry, I had to take a call right now. Okay. It was again. Yes. Deku now about being. Let's say he's quadruple as it was. Let's say an adult that brought him down. Then, in a violent fit of rage, he swam fast enough to theoretically break the sound barrier for a split second and devoured the rest of the ghost leviathans. Not screaming. Him partially screaming, he flicked his tail around, trying to get himself. Sand flew everywhere, causing a mini underwater tornado. A sand shark appeared, but as he screamed, his mouth just swallowed it. Scared, he calmed down. As then his senses started to kick in, you'd hear a cracking sound coming from him, as if his scales just hardened. You could even tell. His eyes finally adjusted back to the brightness that he was given, and they glowed. Kind of like this, in fact. Around his nose there were a few lights. Around his body, similar lights to these. A few spines coming from his upper body. Him, as he was still disorientated, he was wondering if this was his quirk, and just a bit of a late bloomer he was. He speculated as he was confused on what was up, down, left, and right, so he looked for the closest light source that he could find. Surprisingly, he saw where he came down. He looked at whatever was left, looked directly up, and started swimming. Not knowing this, he traveled from the 3,750 meters all the way back to the resort. Inca was still crying, as in they saw I saw this thing, but much smaller. You see, this is a sea moth. If you remember the sea moth from Subnautica. He's about like the Grim Reaper, not the Grim Reaper. Sea Emperor, I think? Or like sea dragon size. Yeah, it's about like the sea dragon size. These long things were straight as they surrounded the engine slightly. One of them went directly to Inko as it made a soft screech. Some to this. Sorry for my impression sounding really weird. He growled in a light tone, but you could hear it almost as he was trying to speak. In fact, it pointed directly to her, and when she touched someone please tell me what this is. Really, what the heck is this thing? By the way, he does have arms right around like here. He uses this because he didn't really know he had arms. He just thought they were like fins. Anyway, let's continue. They started arming the weapons as she screamed, "Don't attack him." They disarmed. Wait, give me a second. Something happened. Okay, yeah. So, Deku was... Well, how can I put this? Deku... They didn't attack him. As he held it, he started to swim up. He took the entire facility took that entire submarine with him all the way to the surface. As he climbed on land he now realized arms looked actually absolutely terrifying. Anyway, give me a second. Anyway. Wait, give me a second. So wait, where was I? So yeah, he started to... What's the word? What's... One... So yes. Deku. You see that sound of plates on his back? He jumped off. Deku coming out the spine. You can see the extremely hot steam as the body as then you see the skin is quite damaged. Being down there so long in his first body could have killed him if it weren't for his rapid rage and touch. Anyway, sorry, my family's being very disrupting. Anyway, where do I start? Anyway, yes. They run to him, seeing as all the steam comes out. They see his body is different. He has more. Due to his hardened skin, he lost most of his mouth. But instead, give me a second, I have to remember. You can see when he starts to talk, you hear crack where his mouth would be, both completely where it should be, but all the way. Also crack down and a crack up. You see all the eyes on the mask weren't actual eyes as the mask breaks off. 1 second. Imagine peeling a banana 4 ways, but instead the pieces kind of look like they're about to clamp, but they're out. You see that his that his white eyes. 1 second. They are then anyway. His mouth is now split, so similar to how his mouth is split. His teeth are sharp enough to probably cut through titanium. Maybe even make a major scratch in diamond. His hair also seems to have taken a similar form to this. Even though that his hair is now exceptionally long, it now spirals, kind of like as if it were one of these. Even if you focus hard enough, it looks like he has a crown. But true. Anyway, he does have spikes on his back. His entire lower body is a serpentine body. Mainly this is why he had a bit of difficulty getting out of his first transformation. Yes, by the way, the steaming part was from Attack on Titan. If you forgot, in Attack on Titan, whenever you transform and exit, you have an excessive amount of heat. This is also referencing Aaron's first transformation. It's also referencing Attack on Titan when that bright beam of light appeared. Because technically that's where he sort of went to a true form. Remember, oh shoot, sorry, I was showing you the spiral. Remember, this form, he's one of the most powerful things on Earth. That's why they pay him a lot of money. Let's time skip. So just to recap, he also learns extremely fast, like nothing else has ever seen. He even got a nickname for being so understanding. Actually, not, never mind. Wait, they gave government and heroes alike. Everyone gave him a name after hearing what he did. They gave him the nickname, some jokingly and some really Apex Predator. He decided to call Husky what he thought was a quirk. 1 second. Right, actually, that will end the video. See you next time. But also like, sub, and remember to be, I don't know, just like, sub, and comment ideas for next episode. And don't worry, I'll also make a separate video to explain why about more of my fantasies, or like the origins I like to give. Most from now onwards, you're gonna see a new pattern. It's always gonna have a similar mask with black eyes on it, and it can split. This is because this is the mask of the god of the god I've made. So yes, that is the answer if you want to figure out that question. Just remember that everything can boil down to the viewer. Anyway, but remember to enjoy the video, because I didn't just make it for fun. I make it for you guys, because I usually take topics that don't have a lot of videos about them, and put it into my own way. And if this inspires you to do the same, that makes me very happy. But anyway, please stay safe during this time. I wish all of you the best of luck, and peace. See you soon.